how's it going, everyone? We have this Honda GC 160. It's a 5 horsepower. Sounds about right. Anyway, originally it's a 2200 psi pressure washer. Backstory. So let's sit down for a moment, for like 30 seconds. Owner gave it to me to fix it. He's like, just fix it, make sure I can sell it. Okay. So then I quoted him, and I kid you not, I found a good sale on a pump. I even bought it because I thought it was such a good sale, and it was on Amazon. It was a lightning deal. Yes, I get it, it's not a great pump, but I mean, look at this machine. Come on now. Having said that, it was like 55 bucks and 2800 psi, I believe, 2.3 gallons per minute. It needs a minimum of this engine, so this engine can run it. It's not going to be happy, but it can run it. So now we know the backstory on that. Let's take a look at this. He just wanted me to fix it. Now, this needs a new pump. I told him that. He wasn't happy about it. He eventually got to the point where he told me I was scamming him, and he's like, just take the machine. I know that's what you're trying to get out of me, so blah, 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 blah. That was almost 3 months ago. I have long since used that pump on a different project, and I think it's a good thing because I don't know if this is a 3/4 inch shaft. I'm pretty sure it is, or it could be a 7/8. I'm not 100% sure, but I found a sale that's almost exactly the same for the exact same pump. It's like $56, so it's like $1 more. I'm okay with that. So let's take a look and see if this is gonna work or if I have to buy a new pump. I kid you not, some people are just some type of special. Well, I'm not going to lie and say you can't find these pieces. They're going to be crazy expensive. And it, in my opinion, is better just to buy a new pump. Now, the unfortunate part about this is I don't know if I have an Allen that's really going to be the right size for this. So we might, at least for impact, we might have to go old school and just do it by hand. Yay. So I have a lot of these just chilling from I think I bought it when I was using it for tensioning up a crossbow. Archery never became my thing, but Allen is always a good thing to have. So we kept it. Looks like this is the closest one, and even then it's a little sketchy, but is that just egged out? Might just be egged out. No, it's like this weird size. I do have these bits, but my thought is that it's going to be too big and it might not work, but maybe it will. I don't know. These pumps are super annoying. Ooh, that very well might actually just work. Should have started that from the beginning. Okay, let's cross our little fingers that this works. Now inside here is oil. So I don't remember where exactly I got this clear little pan thing, but I have it. I know you're thinking, why don't you just take it off? This is how you take it off. It's not like others where you can just unbolt it. This style, you need to do this. More likely than not, yours will not need to do this. Let's tighten that one up, just so I can do this easier. Oh, that was disgusting. Ew. This oil is not fun at all. The opposite of fun. Smells bad. smells a lot like gear oil. I guess it probably is gear oil, or very similar to gear oil. Can't imagine it is gear oil. Okay, so this is going directly to the trash or the recycling. Let's say recycling. I mean, just look at that. Yeah, just fix it. This entire thing is trash to me, so I'm not going to worry too much about remembering how parts came out. Or excuse me, recycling to me. So now that we have at least most of that out of our way, we can take a look. I'll wash my hands first and see what it looks like in there. The funny part is, that says top. That's not on the top. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, do me a favor. Put a thumbs up if you think a fee of $55, just for the part, mind you, total, because I do work with this guy a decent amount, at least I used to before this, was obviously more, but I feel like $55 for a brand new pump is pretty smoking good deal, especially when it's not even yours. You just want to sell it. He has a wand, he has a hose, he has everything. No, we are in the middle of two sizes, of course. Why wouldn't we be in the middle of two sizes? Wow, that is on there. Maybe we take out these and see if any of these will work. No. That's definitely a lot better than what I've done so far. Not a fan of doing this, but they're extended bits, or not bits, but you know what I mean. These are my steel. Everything on the steel needs to be extended, so. So far, so good. Until that happened. Okay, this part is really boring. I'm just gonna take off the other two. Now that we have that, this should come off. Oh yeah, there we go. It's a pretty decent amount of good metal in this, so my recycling person's gonna be very happy. Now, before we go any further, let's wipe some of this down. Let's take special note, it does not have a key in there, so whatever pump we do get is going to require a key. My caliper is out of batteries, and to be honest, this is just as easy. I mean, I can read it manually, but manual. 3/4, yeah. Just what we thought. And how long? 2 1/4 or 2 1/8, depending on where you want to end it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the pump online. I'm going to see if we are in the same ballpark. You know what? I think we're going to add a little benefit to this video. Let's go ahead and talk about what I'm looking for. So like I said, I am on Amazon. And on Amazon, I am looking for a description of the requirements I need. Now, we have a horizontal shaft, so we know we need a horizontal shaft pressure washer pump. We know we need a 3/4 inch because that's the size that we have. Now, majority of them, unless it's like a special one, are going to have this same size of shaft. Now, I think there's like a brand or two where it's like super short, but we shouldn't have to worry about it. So when I look for it, I'm looking at the product specifications, I'm looking at the requirements, and right now it says 2 inch or longer, up to 2 3/4 inches, fits 3-inch horizontal shaft engines only, 5 horsepower minimum, GC 160 or up. Well, that is exactly what I have, so we should be good to go. When you are looking for this, you need to make sure your engine is not underpowered. Overpowered, that's also bad, but I don't think you're running into that problem with these types of machines. In addition to that, like, 'cause sometimes they have like a GC 120, you know, those are really small machines, but they do make them. It's really hard to find a pump for those, by the way. Trying to find something for that small of a motor, it's pretty much just not worth it. Like, you're going to be spending so much money that you might as well just buy a better one. And that's just the quick and the hard on that one. So it's not really worth it. So we know we have the motor's good, the shaft is what we need. It's going to be here tomorrow. And yeah, so I think what we're going to do right now is we're going to sit down, wait, and just install the pressure washer. I'm going to dispose of this. Now, something that you might be concerned over is how we took it off before. That's completely different than what you're seeing online. That's completely fine. The mounting is the same for both. The engine has an oil seal. Now, the other one kind of used that oil seal in its own special way. Don't worry about it. Ours, we're not going to have to worry. As long as it has the 4 mounting holes, which they all have on standard, it's exactly the same for everything. You're not going to have to worry about it. So just because it looks different doesn't mean it's not going to be able to be mounted up. You just need to make sure your engine size is adequate, your shaft dimensions are what it needs to be, and that's about it. Unless for any reason you have some super crazy weird one, which I've only seen one time, and was on a chipper? I think it was a chipper. But even then, they had a plate, so when you took off the plate, it was still a standard mount. So you don't really have to worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ordered, and then by the time you see it, it will already be here. And just like that, with the power of editing, it's the next day. We now have our pressure washer pump. If you want to know the exact model, I did an unboxing video. You can go ahead and check that out. But we have it here, so let's go ahead and get it installed. One of my concerns when I was buying it is this little area isn't all that large. So I was kind of hoping, or not hoping, but I didn't want it to be too long. Now, this pump did come with 2 keys. I would highly recommend that when you do this, you have the pressure washer, the crank, in the orientation it is right now. I don't have my hammer with me, so don't laugh too hard. It just makes putting the key in a lot easier. Now, at this point in time, you could use anti-seize. The customer wants to keep this on the uber cheap, so we're going to not use anti-seize, but if this was yours, I would highly recommend you put a very thin layer of anti-seize on there, especially for horizontal pumps. They seem to have a lot more issues than the vertical ones. I feel like that's probably just because the vertical ones probably gonna have oil dripping in them anyway from the motor eventually, so I don't know. That's my assumption. Anyway, so inside of the pressure washer pump, we have what we need to insert the crankshaft into. I have it oriented so I could put it on like this. You just kind of line it up with the key, and boom. Pretty simple. If you don't want to line up with your hands, you can just put your hand in there and just kind of move it. It's really not that hard. You're not going to damage anything, of course, but If you don't want to, you just put the pressure washer pump on whatever orientation it needs to be. So the hardware we're using did come with the pump. It should be pretty standard. I'm going to put it on finger tight at the moment. Now, I think we are going to run into a problem with this being the fact that it had a little bit of Loctite on the threads of the other bolt. So we might run into that. Definitely feeling a little bit of resistance there, but it is going in. The threading is normal, or what it should be at least. Forget what the pitch is, but putting the lock washer on it, it's important. You don't want this coming off when you are pressure washing. That would be disastrous, to say the least. Now, all 4 bolts go in, at least started with your hands before you start to crank it down with the impact or anything. Okay, so that's all 4. I'm going to take probably a ratchet and or socket, or excuse me, or a wrench. I'm going to snug all those down and be right back. And just so everyone knows, right now it's pretty much where it needs to be. If it's not 100% perfect, it's fine. And just so there's no one saying cross-threading, it's going in very easily with the wrench. So it's just the previous bolt had something, or I don't know, maybe just dirty. But I'm gonna go ahead and snug all of them down and be right back. Now I know what you're thinking. Can I take the pressure washer pump and flip it upside down? Well, no, for 2 reasons. One, this actually is going to require us to have a vent on top. So we're not going to be able to do that because of that vent, which is what we're going to do next. Secondly, you always want your inlet and your outlet to be away from the exhaust. You don't want it to have it on the same side as the exhaust, because if it is, then what you'll end up doing is probably burning whatever hose you have there, your garden hose, your pressure hose, whatever hose is there. No. There we go. Okay, it wasn't on too tight. Oh my God. Okay. The threads on this are so amazing. Now this does not have a tank for soap, so I'm not going to put the hose on for the soap. And to be honest, I don't really know a person that actually uses that. I'm going to give it to the person that bought it, but I don't suspect it's going to be used. So there's that. So now we are done. There was a second key that was involved, or it came with the kit. I like to use the longest one I possibly can. That's just for ease of installation. At least it's easier for me. The reason why is if it's shorter, you can put the pump on and it's very easy to kind of push that key out of the way and kind of, if you're not paying attention, kind of force it into the seal of the crankshaft. If it's longer, you really can see it happen well in advance before that ever becomes a problem. If it's a shorter one, that could be a problem. So don't do that. Another thing, if one was going to use the soap feature, make sure to wind up the hose wherever you need to put it. I mean, like I said, this has really no application. I don't think the old one ever had it, but maybe it did, I don't know. But just kind of keep it out of the way. You don't want it flopping into the exhaust or anything like that. So we have repowered, or excuse me, re-pumped this pressure washer. We know the engine works just fine, so I don't worry too much about that. And this has a 90-day warranty, so if it doesn't work, the owner will bring it back. But more or less, all we need to do is the wand goes here, inlet for the water goes here. This is the it's escaping me. Basically, this controls the pressure, and then so on and so forth. So pretty simple little pump, not bad for 55 bucks, but a normal non-sale, I don't know if I mentioned that, $55. Normal was $62. Had a coupon, made it a lot cheaper. But even if it doesn't, even if it was $62, if you got this pressure washer for free, assuming you already have a hose and wand, you can easily sell this thing for $180. At least in my area you can, assuming it's not the dead of winter. If it's spring or summer, all day long. Maybe yours is different. Even if you sold it for $140, you're still making 80 bucks profit. And if I wasn't filming this, and if I didn't have to remove that weird pump, this whole removal installation of the horizontal pump, which is the easier of the two, would take me maybe 15 or 20 minutes. So at the low end, 80 bucks for 15-20 minutes of work. That's like $240 an hour. Not bad. So I'm going to leave you at that. Follow me on Instagram at SmallEngine101. If you like what you see, keep watching, subscribe. Definitely leave a comment below, and I will catch you on the next video. Have a good night.